Hi everyone, welcome to my next video in the NOSS series. I think we have already published over 10 videos in the NOSS series. So this is the topology, just to revise back. This is the topology which we are working for our NOSS series. You could see that I'm just giving you again and again because I don't want you to follow the same thing in your coursework, so that you might lose marks for that if you are doing it without proper understanding. So here I'm completely using a different network just to make sure that you're not copying exactly. You want to understand the concept. The purpose of this NOSS series is just to make you understand how concepts work rather than not to replicate the same work in your coursework as well. So we are using a 192.168.1.0 network in Swansea, DC, and we are using 192.168.2.0 network in London server or child domain, and we are connecting both Swansea and London campuses or London networks using a public IP address or a class A IP address maybe. So here we are using 10.0.0.0 network, and I'm using a /30 subnet, so that it's just only 2 IP addresses I need. I'm using it. So this is the topology. So far in our video we have done this network setup. We have installed operating systems, optimized the setup, configured the IP addresses, and at this stage they both should communicate, the client here and the client here won't communicate because we don't have any routing configured. This is first part of your coursework. So coursework 1, you should have completed this. In few occasions I have seen that your IP addressing was wrong, or your understanding on IP addresses were wrong. So I could see some of the students have configured 2 network interfaces in a client machine, which is not required. See here, as per the topology, it is just only one network, and the connection between only the servers have 2 different networks. One is internal facing, the other one is external facing. But I could see some of the students who have configured both internal facing and external facing in both the clients and the server, which is meaningless. And I could also see you could establish communication without routing protocol, which is obvious. So with your coursework, if you haven't done it properly, in order to complete and continue and complete coursework 2, you have to correct all the errors, or else you can't establish any of the coursework 2 components. So here as far as your coursework 1 is concerned, the setting up your network, the L server and your L client should communicate. It was not DHCP, it is just a manual configuration. You could have used any IP addressing scheme, it's absolutely fine, but how you use is very important. So there must be a communication between this server and this client, this server and this client, and this server and this server using this IP address. So if you're pinging from here, from SDC 10.0.0.2 in this topology, you should successfully ping. But if you're going to ping this network 192.168.2.2 or any IP address, you should not be able to successfully ping, because that's a different network and this guy doesn't see that network, right? So this is what setting up the network. And then we also released a continuous series of videos how explaining configuring firewall rules, installing routing and remote access services. So I have initially configured RIP, routing protocol, to establish communication between this network and this network. Later removed RIP, and I configured site-to-site VPN as well. Even in in VPNs, I have given demonstration of 2 different types of VPNs, the remote access VPN and the site-to-site VPN. And if you haven't watched that video, you can go and look at the video as well. However, in our coursework 2, you are expected to do a site-to-site configuration, not a remote access VPN configuration. We have created forest and child domains. So it's a NOSS.com forest, and then we have SDC as a parent and L server as a child. So we have created a forest, made SDC as a domain controller, um, and we have added the client to the domain. We have also created Swansea domain. We have also created a Swansea domain. We have also created a London domain, which is a child domain of the parent. We have configured DNS. Um, we have also configured DHCP. So all these things we have already completed. They're all in the previous videos which has been uploaded in Moodle. So today we will be finishing off with creating user accounts and mounting drives. So these are the two things which we'll be discussing in today's video series, and possibly we can also do some troubleshooting from testing the network and working on. Once you're done with all these steps, you should have a successful communication between all the networks here. All the machines should successfully communicate. You could trace route, you could test. You have to be, you can able to log in with different users you have created and all those things. Once you have done that, then you can work on the other aspects as well, which is an independent task which you'll be doing as part of your coursework, right? The other thing I would like to mention here is uh, try to look at the marking scheme. So in your coursework, you have a marking scheme which is attached to your coursework. Look at that, and based on that, you can adjust how you are going to work, present your coursework, right? Okay, coming back to this video, so we will talk about mounting drives, and we will also do create accounts or import the accounts from a CSV file. Right, so we are in L server here, which is where we have to create a disk drive. That's what we are going to plan and do it. So you could see that this is my PC here. I have one drive, one disk drive, which is C drive, which is already mounted with 50 gig. And I have a D drive as well. So I can't create a D drive because D drive is already mapped with my DVD drive. So I want to mount a drive, create and mount a drive or mount a drive. That's what the task is asking for. Even if you can look at your coursework is also telling the same. So first, let's see whether we have disk drives which is available. So as I said, we will be working more with PowerShells here. So just to make sure that we are getting used to it. Most of you are troubleshooting commands. You'll be using PowerShell scripts to show that your commands are working. Let's see. I'm just going to use a get command here. Yeah. So get. I want to look at my disk. So let's say, yeah, here we go. So you also have auto help or auto fill things here. I'm just going to give get disk. You can also go and search here for all the modules which you have. You want to do something, you want to search something from DHCP, you want to search something for DNS, you can look here, you can look the commands here as well. Right, let's see whether we have we have other disks which we can mount, because if you're not reading the coursework tasks completely before starting the actual coursework, you might have not created multiple disks. Okay. So here, because I want to mount a disk, I'm looking at what disk I have. So here I have only one disk, which is disk number 0, and it is a VMware virtual disk. It's 60 gig. It's a GPT partition. Students who are doing, who have already done computer forensics, or who are currently doing computer forensics, or anyone who knows about hard disks and devices, you know what the partitions are. You have NTFS partitions, you have GPT partitions, fat partitions, kind of thing. So it's a GPT partition. So the problem here is we just have only one disk which is already mounted here. You could see that's a disk which is present here. If you want to mount a disk, which is as per our task which we have, we can't mount the disk because we don't have a disk. Right, I'm just trying to open my, right, so we want to mount disk drives. I don't have a drive to mount. Okay, so let's first sort that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this machine. Let's wait for this machine to shut down. Right, so here we go. The machine is powered off now. Let's go here to settings. I have my hard disk here, which is 60 gig. We have already seen that. So just go here, add a hard disk, and just click next. NVMe is recommended. Okay, so if you're not using a VMware and if you're using a Oracle VirtualBox, still you can create it. The thing is, maybe the interface is completely different, but it's not that difficult. So create a new virtual disk. Are you going to give 60 gigs? So no, I'm not giving 60 gig. We don't use it for 60 gig. 10 gig is more than enough. Even 5 gig is more than enough, just to make sure things are okay. Store virtual disk is a single file. That's fine for me. So only on 5 GB disk file we are created using this file name. I will just say 1 here, just in case I want to name it. And see here you have a new hard disk which is 5 gig. We have an additional hard disk which is 60 gig. I say okay, it's all done. So let's power on the virtual machine. Right, here we go. Let's log in here. We have logged in successfully. Let's go into our Explorer. This PC, I'm not seeing any disk here. It's okay. Let's see whether the disk is mounted properly or not. So let me go back to my Windows command here, and I will go to my disk management. So yep, so it says that you must initialize a disk before logical disk manager can access it. We have a disk 1, we have to initiate the disk. We have added a disk, we haven't initiated the disk. So you just click disk 1, select your partition, whether it is going to be a MBR partition or a GPT partition. So GPT is something which we used recently. MBR is an old master boot record partition, so we can go with GPT. So it says that GPT partition style is not recognized by the previous versions of Windows. Yeah, it's fine. Just give OK, and you could see that the disk 1 is here. Just click on it, new simple volume, next, 5 gig here, and now you could select any of the values here. Because our C and D are already used, we can't assign C and D. So I'm selecting E here. That's fine. So which file system I'm going to use? NTFS file system. New volume is fine. So here you can go and say London files if you're going to create it, or I would say, just to give a different one, I would say my files. So let's be specific here. So Nitish files. And then I give next, finish. Right. And here we go. And you could see that you have your folder ready up and available. So I can go in here. I can create a new folder. I can create a new document. This is my new document. I can edit. I can do anything. Save. Right. So that's a basic thing which we are expected to do in this point here. Mount drives. Yeah, we have done this mounting drives. But I just wanted to give some explanation here, because your coursework will be asking a bit more as well. So I'm just opening your coursework here. So here it says mount second disk drive to D London files. So you don't have you can't use D drive because D drive is already mapped with the CD drive. So you can create London files and mount the second disk drive. Maybe instead of D, you can make it to E, F, G, whatever you want. So you can mount it. That's point number 1. But when we go here, from task 7, you will be completing on your own based on what you have understood so far. So here you could see that you have created maybe Nitish files here. You are going to set access permissions to allow only users who you will be exporting in a minute to have full control permissions, and other network users only have read access. Share the drive to both London and Swansea network. So this is something which you have to do based on your understanding. So you have mounted a drive, and this drive should be accessible in your SDC network as well. All the networks should have this. So you are going to share this drive to all. And what should happen is the users whom you're going to export for the London office, London network, they are the only ones who have the edit rights. They can create new files, they can edit it, delete it, remove it, whatever it is, they can do it. But those who are other users, like London users or any other users whom you have already created, they all will be having only read-only access. So that's something which you have to do, and that's really, you can do it with your understanding. So that's what we are checking on based on your understanding as well. All right. So this is what you'll be doing for your mounting drives. So The next one we are going to work on is to export users. So I'm going to use PowerShell scripts to export users as well. So what we are going to do here is we are going to export users, and the users are already available with us. So create user accounts. Um, you can create user accounts different ways. So you go to your Active Directory here in your Server Manager, go to Tools, right, sorry, go to Tools, you could see your users and computers. It's taking a bit a while for me to open. Maybe I'm running all the formations here. You can also use dsa.msc, that's a run command for it. So just to click OK. So it takes a while, it will open. Let's wait patiently for that. So the users here, so you can go into the users. Never mind, you could see all the users here. It's okay, I have already exported it, it's fine. So if you want to normally add users, you go to your domain, so whichever domain you want to add, so you can go to your users, and within the user, right click, new, you want to create a user, so you can create users. So let's say I'm going to create a user, let's say Chris, John, John, then I can go next. So I want to set a password. I just set a password. I can give, they have to change it for the next login. If I'm a system administrator and I want to do it for users, that's what, if you go to Lee or Ray to create a user for you, they will create it and ask, they will enable user must change on this password. So whenever you go in, you get a default 123456 and you change it to a different password. So here in this case, I don't want to do that. If user want to change the password, they can change. I would just put password never expire, and I don't want to disable this account. So next, finish, and now I have a user called Chris John. So I can go back to uh, my L client here, and if I sign in using Chris John's account, I should be able to sign in to Chris John's account, right? So this is what we do. This is manually we are going to do. There is other way as well. So what if you have hundreds of users which you want to export or you want to create? So for example, let's say we have 50 students joining year one, and we want to create 50 users, and it's waste of time for us to sit and type and create each account, and it could lead to some human errors, typing wrong names, wrong passwords. It's a hectic job. So instead of that, we can have a spreadsheet or a CSV file which we can export from any of the portals, and from there we can use that CSV file to export and create user details, right? So that's one of the tasks you have for your coursework as well. So if you go to, you should have already noticed that. If not, if you go to your Moodle page and go to your Moodle assessment, I will switch role to the student. So you go to module assignment, coursework 2, and here you should see users list updated. So be careful if you have already downloaded a user list, and if it is not having the appropriate parameters, you may not work it well. So I would recommend you to download the updated one. So user list updated. So I have this user list updated here. So that's a CSV file we have, and that CSV file literally is here. It have around 100 users. So it has the first name, name, given name, surname, SAM account, password, email, phone, city, title, and organization. So we have managers, we have staff members, we have visitors. So these are the three categories. Maybe you can classify them, right? So these are the users which you will be exporting. So the first thing what you have to do is take that user list and put it in your virtual machine. So what here I have done is, so here is my user list updated. I have already exported all the users, but I will do it differently now. So once you have updated the user list, it should be like this. So you could see that you have a lot of users, and all these users are exported from that spreadsheet, that CSV file. So let's check if everything. So once you have updated everything, this is how it looks like. So let's take this one, Rory Cox here, and see if we have Rory Cox here. Here we have. So I double click the user, open the user. I should be, once the user is opened, I should be able to see all the details here. The only difference here is I have not manually updated, because updating manually 100 users is going to be quite a challenging task. So instead of that, what I've did is I have used PowerShell scripts to work on it. So we will do that in a moment, right? So before doing that, the first thing what you have to do is you have to put them in your virtual machine. So here is the virtual machine user list updated. So I also created 3 others as well, dummy users here. Let's work on this CSV. I've just opened on a notepad. So here you could see that I have Munya's name here. Let's try to export Munya's name here. Before we update Munya's name, let's see if Munya is here. I don't see Muniraj here, so that file is not updated. So we can update Munya. So coming back to Rory, so you could see that all the details are here. Rory Cox. So you see the first name is here, the surname is here in the last name, the telephone number, the email address is here. You go to address, you could see the city here. You could see that this is the condition. So if you can go to your coursework, the coursework has a condition. So what is the condition your coursework is having? Create user account for ld.yourname.nos domain with all the parameters defined in user. It's not user list. So it's user list updated. That's what we have now. .xlx document or .csv file. This document will be shared by your lecturer. Yeah, it is there in Moodle. You must use the first letter of your first name with a dot and the last name as your SAM account. So if it is Nitish, your first name, and Kalihmurthy, your surname, it should be n.kalihmurthy. So here in the CSV file, we have let's say so in the CSV file, Rory is the first name and Cox is the second name. So he could see that the first letter here, or dot the surname dot Cox is here, and it is created. So as per the conditions, we have created it. So the conditions are true, which means we are we have configured it correctly. So how are we going to do that? So I will just tell you in a minute. Okay. All right. So this is working fine. So we are going to do the same thing, but we are going to do with, okay. we are going to export it because I have just tested it for whether it works. Because I'm not, I was using PowerShell scripts to do that. So let's I checked it, it works fine. So I have created dummy files as well here. So I have dummy files 1, dummy file 2, just to, you know, try different ways of how it works. Right. So let's go in here in a PowerShell script. So I can do it in either ways. I can create a PowerShell script and execute it directly, or I can write it here itself. Anyways, any way it works. The first thing what I have to give is I have to give a path. Okay. The other thing I want to tell, the best practice is always there is a best practice, right? So what I have did here is I have exported all the user in the user field, right? It's okay. It's as per the conditions you get marks, but there is always a difference between an excellent and exceptional work. So you could see in the spreadsheet that in the CSV file that you have different categories. You have managers, you have staff members, you have visitors, right? You can create folders inside this new folders or new group, and then you can create a group for staff, you can create a group for visitors, you can create a group for uh, managers, or you can say that these are all exported users and you create LD users as a group and then put all the users inside it so that it is easy for you to manage. Okay, that's the difference between excellent and exceptional work. Okay, so it's up to you how you are going to work on it, right? So let's go in here. The first thing what we have to do is we have to specify the path of your CSV file. So I'm going to create the path. So I have to specify the path. So the path is here. So let me go to the properties. It is C drive and use, okay, C drive. So let's go C drive and it's users list dummy. All right, dummy 3 dot, it's a CSV file. So the CSV file, it's a CSV file. So this is the path where I have my, okay, let me comment it. So this is the path where I have my file, which I want to export it. So I'm going to use this file, but instead of directly, what is it? It's just a path, right? So this is how PowerShell scripts work. It's kind of a script. You are writing a script. So what you have to do is you have to assign it to something, a variable. So let's say that it is CSV path. My CSV path is C drive users list dummy value. So now this is a variable, or this is a, a particular variable which contains the value of the path. So here in PowerShell, you represent that as a dollar sign in front. So without that, it is just a text. With this, it has a variable onto it, right? And here, I'm just going to give it as a double quotes just to make sure that this is the path. Okay, so I have given the path. Okay, so this is the path where I have my file. The next thing what I have to do is, okay, so the best practices again is whenever you write a script, you give a comment to it, so it is easy for others to understand as well. So here, this is the path for my CSV file, right? So I've done this. The next one I'm going to do is I have to import that file. Okay, anything which is present in that file, I have to import it. So where is that path I have? I have it in my variable here, which is CSV path. This is where I have it. So for this, I can use a command which is already available here. So I can search for import, and here you could see I have import CSV. I can exactly use this. So insert. Oops, it's inserting here. Right, let's insert here. Import CSV. So I'm going to import CSV. The file of the path is CSV path. So as same here. So where am I going to import it? I'm going to import it to another variable which is called users. So this is a variable, so I put a $sign. So this is the import function from CSV file to users, right? So two things I have done. I have given the path. I have specified where my CSV file is, and then I have created importing. I'm using the function import CSV to the users. So it will just go and import it, right? Simple, as simple as that. But in a real-time environment, if you could see here, I have over 100 users. I'm not importing just one user. I'm importing 100 users here. So which means that I have to go in each line, and then I have to create each users, right? So I should use some loop or something here. So here, let's use loop here. And what are the things I want to create? So let me note down that. I will keep that in the other screen. Oops, sorry. I will keep this here. Okay. So what are the things I have? I have name. I have given name, surname. These are the variables which I have. Account. Okay. We have password. I have email, office, phone, city, title, organization. Right. So it should be all equal to it. Okay. Or else it's going to be different. Right. So these are the names which I have it in my CSV file. Okay. Just going to the user, maybe open a random user here. Right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a loop, maybe for loop, right? So that each user in the CSV file can be imported. Right, so this is what I have. It's still okay. So I just wanted to check what are the commands here. All right. So for this, I can go for. I don't know which. Yeah. So I can go again here, search for it for, and here is the object for each. It's here for each. So it's inside the bracket. So what I'm going to do is I want to say I'm going to create users, right? So I just wanted to know, okay, here is that it's user. Okay, I'm just waiting to see what are the aspects inside that. Okay, it's still opening. So let's say for each user in my users here, again this is a variable, so I give an ampersand users, and this is again another variable which I'm going to use. So for each user in my users, it I think it's right. I open the braces, I close the braces, the error is gone. So I'm going to say this is the one for which I want. Oh, okay, right. So I have my name. Okay. Okay, fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say for I'm creating a variable here, name equals user dot, this is name. Okay, I don't want to give everything, or if I want I can give everything. It's up to me, right? Right. So what I'm doing here is I say that I'm going to create I'm going to create a variable called name, and for that name I'm giving this one, which is the user, which is from the CSV file, which is assigned here. I'm assigning the name. So any name which is present in the CSV file will be assigned here to the name. The same way I can give to given name equals ampersand user dot. This should be the same which is in the spreadsheet. This is the parameter which should be same in the spreadsheet as well. So whatever you have in the spreadsheet, it should be same here as well, right? So you could see that my spreadsheet here as given name G and N caps and N here in the name caps. So I have to use the same thing here as well, or else I'm not going to get the commands executed properly. The same way I can give all the others as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it. So what I've did is I have created for all the things here. So the name, given name, surname, I have ignored few things. I have added few things as well. So here we go. So we have assigned everything, name, given name, surname, passwords, and everything onto it. So we have assigned it to each variable. So now what we have to do is within this loop, we have to make sure that we are going to create the username as well. So for that, what we can do is surname is equal to, so we have this guy name, that's what we are going to take, dot, okay, right. It should be sub. mm, 0, 1 dot 2 lower, I think it's caps letter, 2 lower. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the 0, 1 substring, which is the first letter, to lowercase, and then I'm going to take the surname as well, which is for which I'm going to add plus ampersand surname dot to lower. So what I did is I've taken my first name, which is my name here. The name goes in here, and I'm taking that, assigning it to a lowercase and giving it as my name, plus I'm adding my surname. So if it is Nitish Kalimurthy, it is n dot Kalimurthy. Okay. So the other thing which I want to do is I want to add my dot as well. So here it's just a dot, so I put it in quotes. I add it. So I'm giving my username. I'm creating my username. So here I can say that creating my username. So which is username is equal to the name, and it's a substring to lowercase dot and then my surname to lowercase, right? So I have extracted everything. This is the first thing I've done. So it goes on loop, it extracts everything, and now I have created my username as well. So we have done that. So how are we going to create, the user account? So we can create the user account by adding a new Active Directory user, right? So if I'm just create new, so here you could see I have new Active Directory user. So I just go and say new Active Directory user. So new Active Directory user. So which one I have to give? I have to give my name. So this is why we are going to create the user accounts, and the variable for that is name. Okay. The same way, given name is dollar, which is surname. Sorry, given name is given name. Okay. And then I have my surname, which is my surname, So likewise, I can give for everyone. So whatever user I want to give, I can give. I'm just going to to make sure that we are saving the time, I will just type it in. So I have typed it in. So I have the same way, username, given name, surname, and my username at the rate of ld.nitish.nos, which is my SAM account name, is my username, account password. So I'm giving a plain text password here from the variable password, which is already there. So I have created everything. So this is what I have. I will remove this, and now I'm going to execute the script. There are two things which we can do. Okay, first let's execute and see if everything is working fine. And it says that unexpected token at character 1. So let's go and troubleshoot it. Line 29. Oh, okay. So there is another one here, right? So let's execute it again. So username, the term username is not recognized as the name of a commandlet function. So the error is in 20. It says username is, oh, okay. Because username, it's again, yeah. So now it should be fine, right? It says an attempt was made to add the object to the directory with the name which is already in use. Munya. Oh, okay. It is executed then. Uh, let's see if we have Munya here. So here you could see that you have Munya which is created already here. So we can double click it and check if it is the same value of Munya here. So here we have said that munya.murira@nos.com should not be nos.com. Let's see. So here we go. So you have Munya and right, sorry. So Munya.c Murira. So you have munya.murira@nos. That's his email address, right? And his account is, oh, right. So there is a problem here because it has Munya, but it doesn't have the login name. That should be a login name for him, right? Okay, let's troubleshoot it. But anyways, I can troubleshoot it. It's fine. So, but this is how we create. Okay, because right. Okay, so this is how we create PowerShell scripts. So based on this PowerShell scripts, you can import your CSV file and import all the users into it. I think the problem is because I'm executing it for 2-3 times. So first time it has already added the name, and then maybe it is having an error here to enter the username, but it's fine. I can troubleshoot it. It's absolutely fine. So if you have any errors, you also can troubleshoot it. So you can troubleshoot it only when you understand the concept about the variables, objects, the get commands, and the all the other commands. So here is the easy way for you to access your PowerShell scripts. So any scripts you want to access, you can access it here, and by that way you can create your own access. Always use comments to make sure that we all know what you are doing with your PowerShell scripts as well. All right. Um, yep. So that way we are done with mounting drives as well as creating user accounts. So with this, all these aspects are done. So testing and troubleshooting so will be our next video. Either it will be a video or it will be just a document which I could give you with Active Directory command. Sorry, it's not Active Directory command, with the PowerShell scripts for you to test and troubleshoot your network. So you will be expected to use those PowerShell scripts to show, test and troubleshoot your network and show that your network works, right? Right, guys. See you then.